struggle is part of all of our lives. It's recognizing that we're actually not alone in that.
Yeah.
The Passionist charism, I think, is probably, I'm biased here, but I think one of the most accessible charisms because we all hurt. So while we sometimes might not feel it here and now, there's something more.
I love it.
There's always resurrection.
Talk to me now then about your role at the Passionists with like these missions and these retreats. Because like you said, young adults are such a vital life force within the church.
100%.
I remember when I started going to daily mass and people would look at you and be like,
did you walk in the wrong building?
Yeah. He's like, he's not old. And I'm like, hey. But I like what you said, like to take that love for the church and then make it something compelling and make it like active. I love to know more about your role within the Passionists to encourage that.
So the last year and a half, I've been the Melbourne coordinator of the Passionist Retreat Team. And we've been growing over the last few years, and our congregation basically said, look, given this growth, why don't we try and build it up in Melbourne a bit? So I was appointed down here last year. And it's amazing, dude. Like being able to go and work with young people, like we're doing all these retreats throughout Australia, and I think recognizing that young people are all struggling with very similar things. You know, young people are struggling with these feelings of disconnect, these feelings of judgment, these feelings of hurt. They're struggling with their identity. Who am I? How is that lived out? You know, we're talking about how do I relate to the people around me? There's all these things that young people are struggling with and have always struggled with. You think back to your own time in high school, you know? Those are some core questions in school. And so we go into schools and we basically give them different opportunities through different programs to actually explore those. You know, what does it mean to build up trust with the people around you? What does it mean to reconcile? You know, what does forgiveness actually look like? We hear it in the Gospels and we can talk about it, but practically, what does it look like in any given year level? Showing, and for us, our core message is always, you know, the unconditional love that is present in the cross and is present in Jesus' life, death and resurrection. What does that actually look like in a practical sense in your school, with your friends, with the people around you? So that's, we do all these retreats basically all around that, and I love it. Absolutely love it, man. What is that hard to translate the passion for kids? Yes and no. I think there's one thing we often say now, and I think a few orders would say this, but we would talk about our charism, that of the passion, the overwhelming love of God in the passion, as being caught, not taught. So we would sort of go, it's not so much the things we say on our retreats, but it's how we say them. And it's the things we do and how we do them. And that then flows into our activities as well. It's like we're not here to tell you about a certain message. I'm not going to come here and tell you this is what the Passionist charism is and why it's going to be good for you. It doesn't work because kids just switch off, right? And even to an extent, some of those testimonial kind of stories, I think you might hit a couple of kids who are like, oh, this was cool. But for the most part, as soon as kids start hearing those stories, a lot of them just switch off. So we go in there and we say, look, we're going to give you guys a framework to actually live some of this stuff out. They do it. They go, wow, that was actually quite powerful. Why was that powerful? And at the end we go, hey, you know,
hello.
Have you thought of,
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? That was a Mormon joke.
That's
for those.
I'm going to bring that into some of our retreat. But then it becomes a different conversation because they've lived it, and then they go, okay, I want to understand that. Like, why was that this? And you can go, actually, you guys just shared unconditional love with one another. The things you're feeling right now, that's love. And they're like, whoa, this is cool. So for us, it's very experiential. We're not going there to preach at them or to teach them even, but it's facilitating experiences.
And is there other challenges? I'm just getting comfortable now because this is a very good conversation.
We're in for the long haul.
This might be a double episode or something. The conversations around love, because obviously I feel that word has become misconstrued in popular culture.
Absolutely.
Challenges around that?
We distinguish the two types of love that we see in our world.
Okay, great.
And we talk about this. We say that for most of us, the love that we experience is conditional love. You know, I will love you if, and we call if love. You know, I'll love you if you wear the right things.
Come and do the podcast.
If you come and do the podcast. Yeah, that's right. He did threaten our relationship and if I didn't come. So, you know, conditional love. But that's okay, you know.
Yeah, that's okay.
No. Conditional love is something that we see everywhere. We place conditions, you know. I will only love you if you make me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Or if you act a certain way, or if you be a certain way.
Yeah.
And then we go on to say, but that's actually not love.
Yeah.
It's not even close to love. It's a poor approximation.
Yeah.
And real love is unconditional. And so we talk about the fact that, you know, all of us deserve to be loved, not for any of the external things, but for who we really are, who God's made us to be in here. And when we take our masks off, that's how we share who God has made us to be. You know? And each one of us is unique, and each one of us has something unique to give. Yeah. And if that's the case, then if we hide away and if we don't feel that we can be that true self, we're actually impoverishing ourselves, but also those around us. Yeah. So when we share unconditional love, we encourage others to be more their true selves, more who God's made them to be.
I mean, that messaging is like applicable to beyond kids. I mean, everyone can benefit from hearing that.
Oftentimes we get staff being like, wow, that was actually quite, you know. And so we do some similar stuff with staff for that exact reason.
Okay, great. Yeah,
it's like, bro, this is a message that isn't just for kids.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so powerful, because I think so much of the purity of like, you know, like the language and the words associated with faith have also kind of been like taken. Yeah. You know, and then like, and so I that's why I asked the question. Like, I wonder like how much of that is like helping them unlearn. Yeah. You know, like, hey, you've been taught XYZ about, you know, love and these things. Yeah. And how difficult that process must be.
Yeah. But it's also, it's challenging the structures that we've come to expect from our church for a long time. So for many of us, we would experience church as a sort of, and I think societally there's still this expectation that, like we were talking about earlier, if you do the right things, then you will be welcome here, then you can receive. Whereas the model that we try and engage with is saying the doing the right things is actually the last step. You know, the starting point is you're welcome here. And then because of that, you receive here. And because you've received here, you then go out and do the right things, you know, acknowledging that that's not always going to be perfect. Yeah. But the starting point, and that's, I think, what Jesus did, it was that radical inclusivity. It was saying, actually, I'm welcoming literally everyone, the worst of the worst. People who traditionally, and we'll definitely talk about this in that gospel episode, but people who've traditionally been excluded everywhere, they're the ones I'm going to start with by saying you're welcome here. Yeah. And then based on that welcome, based on that reception, you go, oh man, I want to do this, or I want to do that. I'm so moved by this experience of welcome. Yeah. It's moving me to do this. Yeah, yeah. So it's a paradigm shift, I think, that we need in our church, because that can become really damaging for some people. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Whereas if we're saying, actually, no, hey, stop, I'm coming. Yeah. You're welcome. I really want you here. Show up. Be here. Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah. We can work on the other stuff once you've felt that welcome. Yeah, yeah. So paradigm shift, I think, is what we like to try and do.
So then lived out practically then for people that are listening, that welcome, how can people start to, like you said, shift in their approach? Like, what would be some practical steps?
Yeah. I think for us, we would always say that, you know, for the retreats that we do, we only are there to facilitate small experiences. And, you know, we don't have a community base that we would welcome people to. It's more going in and actually encouraging that to be happening at a local level. But I think, you know, in parishes, there's a few little practical things that welcome looks like. And I remember, I won't name names or places, but I remember there was this one experience where there was a new couple who'd come to a mass where I was, and they'd sat in this seat and not realizing that, you know, there was someone else who would often sit there every Sunday. Right. And that person came up and looked at them and said, "You're sitting in my seat." And it's like, bro, is that...
Can we just put... you shouldn't have
set seats
at a church.
Dude, come on, man.
Yeah, outrageous.
So little things, like if you've got some new people who are coming in, what are our actions saying to those new people in our parish? What does welcome look like? If you notice some new people like, I haven't seen that face before, have a yarn. Hey, how's it going? Like, I haven't seen you around. Are you new to the area? Have you just come to the parish?
That's what it did to me here.
Yeah, exactly.
We got cornered. And we're just like, what's happening right now?
Yeah,
because it's not a common practice.
Exactly, because I think we get caught in our routines, and that's okay. Like we get caught in our regular seats, our regular mass. What's the normal mass we go to? Try going to a different mass in your parish. If you're usually a 9 a.m. Sunday mass, go to the 11. If you're usually a Saturday night, go to the Sunday night. I think it's about saying, like, what are our actions and the way we're connecting with one another? What's that saying to everyone else? And that there's discomfort involved with that, but discomfort's a good thing. I think discomfort enables us to grow. So little things I think are possible to create welcoming atmospheres, inclusive atmospheres.
No, that's a good point. Second last question for you before this could just go on.
I know. You just turn this into a live stream. Like a 12-hour episode.
I know the big part of your charism, the reflection on the passion, something that you talked about. And I know it's going to be a very loaded question, but for people that are listening, how can they start bringing that passion story into their life?
I'd firstly say it's already there. Struggle is part of all of our lives. And whoever's listening to this would know in their own life, where is that struggle? It's there, right? We all hurt. We all suffer. We all feel awful at times. And for us as Passionists, like, we're often told, it's pretty dreary and gloomy to be, following the cross. But for us, we go, okay, if Jesus has suffered the worst of the worst, that means whatever we're currently going through, there's not necessarily a quick alleviation or a quick, it's all over. Okay, if you say this prayer, it's going to be finished, because that's not realistic. But it's recognizing that we're actually not alone in that. And that's the key, or the core of that Passionist charism. That, when we suffer, we know that there's someone else who's here with us. Even if we feel completely alone, there's no one else around us, we know that Jesus is right there in that suffering. And has actually chosen to experience that suffering with us, for us. So, the Passionist charism, I think, is probably, I'm biased here, but I think one of the most accessible charisms, because we all hurt. Like, to be human is to suffer. It's not saying that it's not there, but I love that phrase, a problem shared is a problem halved. And I think that's similar there, when we can recognize, hey, in our hurts right now, I'm not alone. I've got someone, King of the universe here with me in this suffering.
And like, from that framing, it's like, what is like, possibly the most challenging, troubling, despairing story, recounting becomes like a hopeful framing.
100%. And that's why we say, Paul of the Cross, his most famous quote, the passion of Jesus is the greatest and most overwhelming work of God's love. Again, OG MGL's here.
Please don't kick me out of the studio.
Getting free use of an MGL studio.
Yeah. We're very grateful. Thank you so much.
Shade.
The views expressed by Father Luke here are of his own. Thank you for having me in the studio.
Acknowledgement at the beginning. Love the MGLs. You guys are awesome. But I do think that's why it's accessible.
Sure.
Because there is that hope in there. There is that recognition that, that what is the Easter process? You start worst of the worst. Good Friday, no hope, nothing. God is dead. And then you finish on Sunday recognizing that's not the end. So while we sometimes might not feel it here and now, there's something more.
I love it.
There's always resurrection in those dark moments.
Beautiful. Luke, Father Luke. I got to get used to.
Hey, Luke works, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time, sitting down. I'm sure this won't be the last time. We better not be the last time. It better not be another 4 years.
More than happy. So good, bro.
But we end every interview episode with the same question. The patron saint of your interior life and the patron saint of your exterior life.
Ooh. Patron saint of my interior life would be Paul of the Cross, because I think for all of those reasons I just mentioned, is a dude who experienced suffering in a very real way, who experienced struggle in a very real way, and yet was still somehow able to express genuine and tender love for the people around him. Yeah. And so for my own internal spiritual journey, beautiful. Yeah. Exterior would be, he's a blessed, so I'm gonna run with blessed. Yeah. Blessed Isidore Delure. Yeah. Passionist saint. Yeah. He was a brother. Yeah. He got very sick. He got some sort of cancer. Can't remember what it was. But every single day, in amidst his difficulties and his struggles, he just went about his work. He was the housekeeper of one of our places. And in the midst of awful suffering, he didn't make a big deal out of it. He just carried on. Yeah. And he knew that God was in that. And so for me, I actually took him as my religious title is technically Father Luke Bully of Blessed Isidore Delure.
Oh, there you go.
Because I was so moved by that example, you know, to keep going. So yeah, internal, external, done.
Beautiful. Father Luke, everyone.
Thank you very much.
See you next week.
Absolutely.